Why everything you've been told about building success is a lie. Good evening, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom we deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And tonight, I need to share something with you that has completely shaken everything I thought I knew about what it takes to succeed. I recently had the profound privilege of sitting down with Renell Camiel-Finkley, a woman whose very existence challenges every single narrative we've been fed about success, support, and strength. Renell is the president and CEO of the Michigan League for Public Policy, and she has dedicated her entire career to amplifying the voices of those who have been silenced, fighting tirelessly for healthcare access for underserved communities, and boldly challenging federal policies that continuously fail the very people they were designed to protect. Her work has created ripples of transformation across policy landscapes, shifting the conversation around equity, justice, and what true advocacy looks like when it's rooted in lived experience and unshakable faith. But what absolutely stopped me in my tracks about Renell wasn't just her impressive resume or her undeniable influence. It was her story. It was the way she turned every single doubt, every devastating loss, every moment of complete isolation into a legacy that is changing lives, transforming systems, and rewriting what's possible for Black women in leadership. Tonight, I want to share what Renell taught me because her journey doesn't just inspire, it disrupts, it challenges, it completely dismantles everything we've been taught about how success is supposed to happen. Let me ask you something. How many times have you been told that you need a strong network before you can make your move? How many times have you heard that success requires connections, mentors, people who believe in you before you even believe in yourself? How many times have you been taught that moving to a new place without knowing a soul is reckless? That stepping into uncertainty without a safety net is foolish? That you should wait until everything is perfectly lined up, until all the ducks are in a row, until everyone is cheering you on? So, before you take that leap, we've been conditioned to believe that more support equals more success, that you need people, that you need backing, that you need validation from the outside before you can step into your calling on the inside. But what if I told you that's a lie? What if the most transformative breakthroughs, the ones that don't just change your life, but change the trajectory of entire communities, come not from having all the support in the world, but from having the audacity, the courage, the faith to leap when absolutely no one else believes you should? Renell's story is living proof of this truth. She moved to Michigan, a state where she didn't know a single soul, not one person. And the people around her, the ones she thought would support her, the ones she believed would stand by her side, told her she was making a mistake. They doubted her decision. They questioned her judgment. They said it wouldn't work. They told her to stay where she was comfortable, where she had connections, where things made sense. But Renell had something they didn't understand. She had faith, not just faith in herself, though that was part of it. She had faith in God and his realness. She knew that even though she couldn't see the full picture, even though the path ahead was completely unclear, even though every logical voice around her was saying no, she was being called to step into something greater, something that required her to trust beyond what she could see. And she did it anyway. Even in the midst of losing her husband, even while walking through grief so profound it could have completely paralyzed her, Renelle held on to the belief that this wasn't the end for her. It was the beginning. She knew deep in her spirit that she had to go through the process, the painful, isolating, faith testing process to see where life was about to take her. And when she lost support from people she thought would be there, when relationships fell away and she found herself more alone than she'd ever been in her entire life, she didn't crumble. She didn't quit. She didn't shrink back. She made lemonade. Sweet, refreshing, life giving lemonade. Let me say that again because I need you to truly hear this. When Renell lost the support she thought she needed, when she was doubted by everyone around her, when she was isolated and grieving and stepping into complete uncertainty, she didn't just survive, she thrived. She built something extraordinary. After relocating to Michigan, Renell didn't just find her footing, she became a force of nature. In 2012, she participated in Harvard Business School's Strategic Perspectives in Nonprofit Leadership program, honing the strategic skills that would allow her to scale her impact in one of the most challenging nonprofit landscapes in the entire country. She took the isolation, the doubt, the grief, the loss, and she transformed every single bit of it into focused, purpose driven advocacy. She built the Michigan League for Public Policy into a powerhouse organization, one that doesn't just critique federal funding failures, but actively fights for systemic change, one that doesn't just talk about healthcare access, but makes it happen, one that amplifies Black voices in public policy spaces where those voices have historically been silenced, ignored, or dismissed. In November of 2025, Renell led high profile news releases that criticized House funding deals failing underserved communities. She didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for everyone to get on board. She didn't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect coalition. She stepped into her calling and she made an impact that will ripple through generations. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and think about what this really means. Think about the narrative we've been sold, the one that says you need more connections, more support, more people believing in you, more resources lined up before you can even think about making your move. Renell's story shatters that narrative into a million pieces because here's what she discovered, and here's what I need you to understand. True entrepreneurial breakthroughs, especially for Black women, often emerge not from abundant support networks, but from bold leaps into the unknown. It's in those moments of isolation, those moments when we feel most alone, most doubted, most uncertain, that we build the kind of unbreakable resilience that changes everything. When you step into uncertainty without a local network, when you relocate to unfamiliar territories, when you trust God, even when everyone else is doubting you, you're not just building a business or a career. You're building character. You're building faith. You're building a legacy that cannot be shaken. And that's exactly what Renell did. She didn't just build a nonprofit, she built a movement. She turned personal loss into professional fuel. She took the grief of losing her husband, the pain of losing support from people she thought would stand by her, and she processed it. She walked through it, she let it refine her, and she emerged with purpose driven leadership that is redefining what's possible. This is what I call sweet lemonade innovation. It's the kind of breakthrough that doesn't just redefine success for one person, it redefines it for every Black woman watching, every Black woman who's been told she needs permission, every Black woman who's been waiting for someone else to believe in her before she believes in herself. Renell's participation in Harvard's program wasn't just about adding a credential to her resume. It was about equipping herself with the tools to scale her impact, to navigate complex policy landscapes that were designed to keep people like her out, to build alliances from scratch in a state where she had no existing network, no family ties, no built in support system. She applied those strategies to turn adversity into strategic wins, to position the Michigan League for Public Policy as a key critic of federal policies, to sustain advocacy momentum even when the odds were stacked impossibly high against her. During the health policy battles of 2025, when policy gridlock threatened to derail progress for the community she serves, Renell didn't back down. She faced personal isolation, professional skepticism, and systemic resistance, and she transformed every single challenge into fuel. She harnessed her nonprofit leadership training to craft compelling critiques that caught national attention. She heightened awareness of tax credit failures. She positioned her organization for future victories. She modeled for an entire generation of Black entrepreneurs what it looks like to turn trials into triumph, doubt into determination, loss into legacy. And let me be absolutely clear about something. This isn't just about Renell. This is about you. This is about me. This is about every single one of us who has been told we need more support before we can make our move. This is about every Black woman who has been waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to believe in her before she steps into her calling. What if the right time is right now? What if the permission you're waiting for is the permission you give yourself? What if the support you actually need isn't external, but internal, rooted in faith, rooted in the unshakable belief that God is real and He's got you, even when absolutely no one else does? Renell's story challenges the assumption that more support is always better. It disrupts the narrative that you need a strong network before you can succeed. It proves that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step into the unknown, trust the process, and let faith be your foundation, your compass, your anchor. Because when you do that, when you embrace faith driven relocation, when you transform personal loss into professional fuel, when you participate in elite programs and apply those learnings to build something meaningful, you don't just create a career, you create a legacy. You amplify voices that have been silenced for far too long. You inspire other Black women to leverage faith for systemic change. You turn doubt into determination, loss into lemonade, isolation into impact. Renell has modeled for us what it looks like to release the cape, to redefine strength, to embrace softness, even in the midst of hard, faith testing seasons. She's shown us that healing in real time doesn't mean waiting until everything is perfect. It means processing the pain, trusting the process, and stepping into purpose even when you're still tender, even when you're still grieving, even when you're still figuring it all out. She's demonstrated what it means to protect peace as a practice, to create space for joy and rest and boundaries, even while building something world changing. And she's turned survival into something sacred, something supportive, something that lifts up entire communities and transforms broken systems. So here's what I need you to do right now. I need you to stop waiting. Stop waiting for more support. Stop waiting for more connections. Stop waiting for everyone around you to believe in your vision before you step into it. Stop letting fear, doubt, and the need for external validation keep you from the calling that's burning inside your soul. What unknown state, what unfamiliar territory, what uncomfortable leap of faith is calling your name right now? What doubt, what loss, what moment of isolation is sitting right in front of you, waiting to be transformed into the sweetest lemonade of your entire life? You don't need everyone to believe in you. You don't need a perfect network. You don't need all the support lined up in a neat little row before you make your move. What you need is faith. What you need is audacity. What you need is the courage to trust that even when you can't see the full picture, even when you're walking through grief, even when you're more alone than you've ever been, God is real and He's got you. The world is waiting for what only you can build. The breakthrough you're searching for isn't on the other side of more support, it's on the other side of faith. It's on the other side of that bold, terrifying, exhilarating leap into the unknown. Commit today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything feels right. Today. Commit to one bold move without waiting for permission or support. Step into that unknown state. Relocate if that's what you're being called to do. Apply for that program, start that organization, speak that truth, amplify that voice, make that lemonade because your legacy is waiting, and it's not waiting for you to have it all together. It's waiting for you to have faith.